Alrighty, perfect. So I see that record button. So again, everyone, welcome into our Bronco Exchange session on what you need to know about double majoring. So our table of contents and really like our game plan today. First, some introductions. So who are the orientation leaders on this call and why did we decide to double major? Why double major? So what are some benefits of double majoring? Then we're going to talk about the majors within each school, some sample plans. So we're each sharing our kind of, some of us have 4-year plans. Some of us are talking about what we're doing like just for this next school year and how doable is it to really double major here at SCU and some upcoming events. So what can you expect on Bronco Exchange? And then also some social. So how can you stay connected with us as well as the rest of the orientation team? So, of course, number one, introductions. So since I'm talking, I'll go ahead and go first. My name is Hydeia Weisinger, and I am a rising second year here at Santa Clara University. I am double majoring in psychology and public health, and I'm also double minoring in religious studies and political science. And I am from El Sobrante, California. And so really why I double majored, I really wanted to be able to combine multiple interests. So coming into SCU, I applied as a psychology major, but I realized even like in the summer and just, just living life, really how my interests and everything were starting to change and how I wanted to combine multiple fields. And I wasn't really sure how doable it would be to major and minor. And as y'all see, I'm both double majoring and double minoring. So it is definitely possible. And what I really loved is being inspired in lower division classes. So we're going to talk a little bit later on about like double dipping and what that means, but really those classes, lower division classes that account for multiple requirements. I took a public health class my winter quarter, and I was really inspired by this class and just learned so much about the public health field and just about human health in general. And I realized this is something I can definitely see myself doing in the foreseeable future, perhaps as a career and something that I really love and enjoy. So that really made the decision clear to me why I want to double major. And another little bonus fact is essentially I'm able to complete my public health minor through my public health major. And I'll talk about that a little bit when I go over my 4-year plan, but really it makes it so easy, a lot of things being in the College of Arts and Sciences. And with both of my majors and my minors being in the College of Arts and Sciences, how a lot of things overlap and really just weave together and really makes it easy for me to complete all these course requirements. They're double dipping, triple dipping, and I'm able to combine all these interests and really goes back to everything that I really want to love in my undergraduate career and beyond. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Alex.
All right, so hello everyone. My name is Alex Abalza. I am a rising second year and I am a sociology and French double major, and I am from Chicago, Illinois. So why I double majored? So I was made aware that I could by my sociology advisor and professor, and I also talked to my French professor during my first class in the fall, and I was encouraged by both of them to go ahead with adding the second major, because despite them not overlapping in any way, it is possible for me to complete them within the next 4 years. So it's allowing me to like better explore my interests in both sociology and French and set myself up to continue growing in both of them during my time here at Santa Clara, and not having to like worry that I won't be able to continue growing in my French. So it was helpful to know that it was possible. And then fun fact, I entered undeclared. So for my first year, I ended up bringing out both of my majors. And it was great that I could find a way to make both of them work for my time here. I can pass it on to Caroline.
Hi, I'm Caroline Chen. Yeah, I'm a rising junior this year. So I have majors across schools. So I do have marketing from the business school and communications from the art and science school, and I'm from Chenzhou, Jiangsu, China. The reason why I double major is, I think marketing and communications are kind of related, they help each other for some reasons. And double majoring, enable me to be in both the business world and the arts world. So business is my primary major, and for my own interest, I want to be more artsy. So I took COM1 and COM2 before I adding my second major, and I found like these two classes really encouraged me to do another major, so I declared my second major, and it is a novel experience to be in two different schools. I mean, it sounds like business and art science are really different, but I mean, it sounds really hard, but it is not actually. The fun fact about me is like I don't want to graduate in 4 years because 3 years. So I double major so that I can graduate in 4 years. So yeah, because I have many AP classes, trans credits, so which enable me to like graduate in 3 years if I only have one major, but I don't want to do that, so I double major in communications. And I was a management major when I was admitted, but I declared as a marketing in my second year. That is because all of the business students, they need to redeclare their major for their second year because everybody will be uncleared in our business school, and they need to redeclare their major before their second year. Yes. And I will talk about why double major. So it may be easier than you. So if you have classes that double dip with your primary major and your double major, finishing that double major will not force you to overload anything. So it means like, there's a core requirement list, and it seems like there are lots of classes you need to take. But if you double major, you don't need to take those core requirement classes twice. So for example, many classes can double dip. So I took my arts class from communication department. So my art class is 30, and it is mandatory in the communication department, but it double dip with my business major. So you don't need to like take those classes twice if you double major. Many classes can double dip. And it is easier to major within schools rather than majoring across schools. It's true. Okay, because there are more like classes you can double dip. But if you decided to major across schools, it can still be done. So I'm doing marketing and communications. I can still graduate in 4 years, so that is doable. Don't feel pressure about it. But okay, you cannot double major within the business school and also the engineering school. So for some policy in our school, you cannot have two business majors. So you cannot do accounting and finance, but you can do like accounting and economics from the art and science school, and you can also do like accounting and psychology. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Caroline. So now we're going to get into talking about the different majors that are offered within each schools. So first, for the College of Arts and Sciences. So there are a lot of different majors that you can have. So for instance, we have things or majors such as anthropology, we have chemistry and biochemistry, environmental studies, ethnic studies, psychology and public health, political science, a bunch of language majors you can have, such as French, Italian, Spanish, as well as things such as like sociology and women's and gender studies. So there's plenty of majors, and there's even a program called the Individualized Studies program, where in a sense you're able to create your own major in the College of Arts and Science, and all the requirements for that is laid out in our undergraduate bulletin, which I can also link when we get to the Q&A section as well. So I'll give everyone a few moments to soak this in and see any, majors that pop out at them. And now we're going to move on to majors in the Levy School of Business.
Yeah, so for our business majors, we have accounting, AIS, economics, finance. Individual study is a kind of like special major that enables you to do classes across schools, and I will have a link in the chat. You can check it by yourself. And yes, management, marketing, MIS, and just minors. And we have 4+1 program. It is a program designed to provide SCU graduates on an opportunity to complete a master degree in as little as 10 months. So there are specific requirements that you need to do, and you have GPA, requirements, and it depends on different programs you are taking. I will also have a link in the chat so you can check that. Let's go to Alex.
Okay, and then I will be talking about the majors in the School of Engineering. All right, so within the School of Engineering, there's bioengineering, civil engineering, computer science and engineering, electrical and computer engineering, um, electrical engineering, general engineering, mechanical engineering, web design, and engineering. And then they also have, similar to the business school, a BS/MS degree. So it's designed to provide SCU undergraduates an opportunity to complete a master's degree within a year of obtaining a bachelor's degree. So students in this program will receive a Bachelor's of Science degree after satisfying the standard undergraduate degree requirements to earn the Master's of Science degree. Students must fulfill all the requirements for the MS degree specified in the graduate catalog, including the completion of 45 units of coursework beyond that applied to the bachelor's degree. And I can find the link and also put it into the chat. And then there's also a bunch of minors within the engineering school. So if you're an engineering major, you can also check those out.
Perfect. Thank you, Alex. Now we're going to talk about and show our sample plans and how doable is a double major at Santa Clara University. So here is my 4-year plan. It's a bit much, y'all. I get it. There's a lot of like units, but it helps me stay on track of classes that I'm interested in and things I want to substitute. And so again, I just want to mention I'm a psychology and public health major and then a poli-sci and religious studies minor. I think so many of the same letters, y'all. I might have mixed it up in the beginning, but yeah, so this really lays out everything that I want to do. So now in terms of like breaking it down, so really how doable is it? So my math core and my psychology lower division math requirement was covered through my public health major, which was public health 50. And that was a biostats class, biostatistics. Civic engagement is covered through my public health major. And so these right here are all the core requirements I want to mention too. So these are foundational courses and different classes that all Santa Clara University students have to take that don't necessarily pertain to your major. So things like your cultures and ideas classes, often referred to as CNI, your English class, often referred to as critical thinking and writing or CTW. So those classes, or like ethics, things of that sort. These are the requirements that I've completed. So like civic engagement, again, covered through my public health major through public health 2, my natural science covered by bio 2, science, technology, and society covered by public health 1, diversity covered by public health 125, my social science covered through public health 1 or 2, you can decide which one, and then my pathway, which is often referred to here at SCU as a mini minor. So it's not a formal minor, but they're these set of about 4 classes that you take, and you go through a pathway requirement of like writing a paper, or like there's like a project you have to complete. And so there's certain classes that you have to cover over multiple disciplines. So all my pathways covered by my double major. So that public health 1 class, that bio class, that public health 190, which is a public health capstone, and a psychology class, all covered. And then I also want to bring attention for my public health major. When you're a public health major, there's 2 different emphases you can choose. So the first emphasis is health science. So that's more you're taking bio classes, chem classes, so more of the science side, or the natural science side, I should say. And then my emphasis, which is health and society, is more focused on the social science humanity side. So within this, there's a requirement for my emphasis that is interdisciplinary foundational courses. So you have to choose 2 departments from this list and complete a total of 6 courses, at least 2 departments from each. So the departments that I chose were psychology and public health. So I just want to bring attention here that, say, for instance, I didn't have that political science minor, I would be able to still cover practically almost all of my psychology classes that I needed in the upper division part. So for the social science and humanity electives that I have to take, because the departments Psych 1 and 2 count for my interdisciplinary foundation courses. So when I get here to the social science and humanities electives, we see that there's multiple psych classes. And if you see here, which is part of the psych course requirements, many of the classes we see like Psych 172, right here, Psych 172, Psych 115 and 117, and then as well as like Psych 140. So a lot of, and then as well as the 3 upper division psychology electives. So anything that's not met here can be met down here. So a lot of my psychology classes are already met just by being a public health major. So that's really cool. So it really frees up slots in your schedule to do things if you want to add a minor to it, or if you just want to knock out those classes and take more elective classes of things you're interested in. And I mentioned also a little earlier that my political science minor is essentially covered by my public health major. And so with that, I wanted to show the requirement checklist for the poli-sci minors. It's a lot of words, y'all. It's a lot of words, same letters, same letters. So for my poli-sci minor, the requirements are 3 lower division classes from this list. For upper division, 3 5-unit upper division classes, and a 7th course that can be either lower or upper division. And so here again, for the interdisciplinary foundational courses, they will usually be your lower div courses. So here I'm planning on taking Psych 1, 2, and 25. And so I have that right here. And so already interdisciplinary foundations are completed and all my lower divisions are completed. And then like I showed on that previous slide of the social science and humanities electives, right here, these are the ones for political science. So you see, I only needed 3 upper division. I can take 3 of these, and already this is the upper division part of my minors knocked out. And then with 1 more course, so really I only need to take 1 extra political science class. I can do either the Poly 40 that I didn't take, or I can take even another one of the upper division classes. So really my poli-sci minor is already covered with just being a public health major. So again, a really, really cool program we have here at Santa Clara University. And it's just really nice to combine different classes and really mix different interests and fields all just by having a major or a double major.
Yeah, so here's my 4-year plan. So thus far, I've taken my CTW 1-2 and CNI 1-2. I took women gender study classes for my CNI. That means I can also do women gender study minors, but I didn't. But I advise you to take women gender study because I think you only need to take 6 to 7 classes for a minor, which is super easy. And yes, I take my religion 1-2 for my TSP classes, and my math is math 11 because I get the AP calculus B for my math 10, I guess. Yeah, so it's covered through marketing major, business major, and I have my ethics management 6, which is covered through marketing major, and CNI 3 is management 80 through marketing major, and my STS actually took 2 classes for my STS, so it's S34 for my business class and Com 12 for my communication class. The reason why I took the same core twice because all of both of these 2 classes are mandatory for my department. So yes, almost 34 is mandatory for business major, and Com 12 is mandatory for com majors. So that's the reason why I took it twice. And I took my Econ 1 through marketing major, and as I mentioned before, I took my arts for Com 30, cover through com major, and advanced writing is my business 179 covered through marketing major. By the way, like there's also a requirement for business major for the effective communication in business class is also the business 179. So you don't need to worry too much if you're a business major because class can take several courses at the same time. So in the future, I'm gonna take civic engagement, which is mandatory for business, is management 162, and also my management 6 class. And I'm gonna take my religion 3 and experiential learning. But this course is also very friendly because you can, as I know, like some of the classes can actually take 3 courses at the same time. So for the experimental learning, you can also take with diversity and advanced writing or civic engagement. You need to check that on Courseville, and anybody can type the link of Courseville in the chat. That will be helpful. Okay, next slide. So my further classes I need to take is my core requirements, like 3 core requirements. And my business classes are business 85, accounting 12, management 160, finance 121, almost 108, management 162, and my marketing major electives like 4 left. So I do want to say, since I'm marketing major, I only need 5 classes for my marketing major. But if you are other majors in the business school, you do need to take more major classes than me. Because I know if you're accounting or MIS majors or like other majors, you need to take like 10 to 12 or even more classes. So you do need to think twice if you want to double major in another school. And yes, for my communication classes, I do need to take Com 2, Com 101, and 3 of my Com electives. So I took more Com classes than my business class. So that's why so many business classes are left. Okay, next slide. Here's my advice for specific core requirements from different schools. So there are lots of common requirement classes you need to take, but my advice is that if you want to double major in another school or another major, you need to check the list of the core requirements. So, example, there are specific business core requirements for math, ethics, civic engagement, CN93, STS, social science, and effective in business. And there are specific core requirements for com majors, arts, STS, also STS. So in case you don't want to take the same core for twice, if those are not mandatory, you better plan it. So for the classes you can double dip. So for me, every core except arts and TST and double dip with my com core requirement. And things you need to notice. So in my case, I do need to take the STS twice because 2 different schools have 2 mandatory requirements for the same core. So I really recommend you to have your 4-year time schedule with your advisor. If you're a business student, you have your peer advisor and faculty advisor. But beside that, we also have command center, which is super helpful. You don't need to push yourself too fast for one majoring thing, but if you are gonna work for that, I do recommend you to talk to your advisor and to see which classes can double dip and which way is more easier for you to graduate. That will be helpful. Yeah, I'll pass to Alex.
So I do not have the next 4 years planned out. I'm taking it more year by year. So that's the classes I've taken thus far in my first year, and then coming up this year, my second year, I will be taking more classes towards both of my majors and fulfilling more of my core requirements. And if you want to go on to the next slide. And also there's a lot of electives within the sociology major, which is why I haven't don't have a solid set in stone plan, because classes do change of what is offered every year. So just be on the lookout for that. So thus far, I covered my social science core through my sociology major. So the introduction to sociology class. And it allowed me to learn a variety of things about the sociology major and what it is, allowing me to declare my major in it. And then my language requirement was covered through my French major. So I had tested out of the lower division French classes and was placed into French 100B my first year. So I took that in the fall, and it ended up fulfilling my language requirement and started working towards the major, which is why I decided to declare it, because it is 8 classes and I am considering studying abroad. So I'd to prepare myself better for being immersed in another language, I'd like to take some more classes. And then my CNI 3, this one I actually found out through talking to my French professor in the fall. So talking to your professors can sometimes help you realize, your professors and advisors, that some of the classes that they offer do overlap with the core requirements. So my CNI 3 was covered through one of my French classes that I took in the winter, which was French 113. So it was something that I didn't realize that French could double dip with so many other core requirements. So that was something that I learned through like talking to my professors. And then diversity, I covered through my sociology major as well, with Sociology 33. For the sociology major, you take one lower division sociology class, and this one ended up double dipping with diversity. And then in the future, at least for the next 1 or 2 years, my civic engagement will be covered through my sociology major with Soci 157. And for sociology, it tends to double dip a lot with the core. So that one's just by preference of what you're interested in. And then my science, technology, and society will also be covered through like a required sociology major requirement. So Soci 120 that every sociology major has to take. But for Soci 157, that was like an elective one. And then like what I did with my French 113, that was also an elective that I had to take for my French major. And there's a lot of like flexibility with both of my sociology and French majors, since it is heavily elective based within those subjects. So if I wanted to, I could add like a minor. That's it for me.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alex. I know we said a lot of information, y'all. So we want to just take this time for any questions. I see some questions are already popping in the chat, which I love. So yeah, take some time to soak all that information in. If y'all need us to go back to